So I really thought I was gonna run this thing, but it's entirely uphill. And I guess I get to the 3,500 elevation at about 9.5 miles in. I'm only 2.5 miles in, and I've been doing this for an hour probably. It's so gnarled and so rocky. Example, that's the actual trail here. So yeah, there's no way I'm doing that as a run. So we're gonna change our plans a little bit here. I hear a waterfall ahead. These cliffs keep going here. So I gotta somehow climb up there, but see if I could do it one-handed. Find out where that water sound is coming from. Oh, that's awesome. Well, time for a shower then. This is awesome. Definitely gonna run my head on this. It's so good. I still have a little bit of water on both of these, so I'm not gonna fill up here. Whew. I'm pretty tired of conserving my water. I have, this is still full, but this is the one I need to fill up for the Sawyer water filter to transport into the empty one. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up just in case. I'm conserving my water, but sweating profusely. So I'd rather, you know, be able to guzzle that down as I continue walking, knowing I have this. So I'm gonna go in this stream here and fill it up. I also brought some electrolytes, so I'm just gonna pour those in just to replenish all those minerals that I lost through sweating. And then we have the filter tied on to the top of the pouch here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this in one hand into the bottle. I'd say I'm about halfway up the mountain. A little rock climb, totally worth it. It's beautiful. That's all I've done. It's been hours. Goodness. You can see why. That was an animal that just ran away. Look at that, so beautiful. Okay, so if I'm 3.5 miles and I think Sassafras is 9.5, I'm not sure. And the campsite should be another 3.5 miles away. So I think my plan is I'll go to the campsite and crash for the night, and then wake up and walk to Sassafras. Ah, bug right on my finger while I'm trying to record this. Walk to Sassafras, get that view, get an epic 4th of July picture up there, and then turn around, come home. And the way home will be way easier. It's all downhill from there. So it'll be rough on the knee joints, but my knees have gotten so much better since switching to Huarache style sandals. So, and when I say better, like non-existent pain or issues. So that's gonna be fine, I think. But excited for the downhill trip tomorrow, because this one was like going to the gym and asking them to turn the heat to 95. And well, we'll say 105 just to get the humidity factor in there. And then asking them to set the Stairmaster on the hardest level, and then just doing it for like 5 or 6 hours. Sorry for blabbing, I just feel like we're coming up to a really good view. Wow, the trail is just the cliff now. Oh wow, look at that. That's just all of South Carolina there. Time to put these bad boys to the test. I got to go up to the top of that so I can get this view for you guys. All right, let's hope the grips. I am really high up. Terrain is insane. I just went from cliffside wide open to just total jungle. Can't even see 2 feet in front of your face. That was tough to climb. This is the last water stop I have until the site, which is another mile. It's just a trickle, but I'm gonna have to go in, just slowly fill the bottle up. I'm glad I got that other stream before and filled that bottle, but we'll get the other guy filled with this. All right, 7 p.m. Finally set up. Feel a little dizzy. Stomach's kind of jacked up, but I don't think it's from the water. I think it's from dehydration and just choosing to stupidly do this in July in South Carolina. But here's my hammock. So we got the tarp set up in case it rains. Doesn't look like it's going to, but just in case. And then got the hammock and the bug net on there. And I just hung my bag up on a hitch here. And so hopefully I don't have any disturbances tonight. Hanging my food up there for the bears. About 150 feet away from my campsite. This probably goes without saying for most people, common sense, but I thought I'd give a public service announcement. And I suggest not doing Foothills Trail in July. Just do a quick little day hike and turn around and go to your car, because going all the way up the mountain like I did is a bad idea. The nausea I have right now is from heat exhaustion, I'm sure. I'm super dehydrated, a lot of heat exhaustion. My body temp is really high even though it's kind of cool out, so it's gonna be a rough night. So do it in the spring, fall, winter. Got some lightning storms going on, but the rain is really peaceful. It's the sound of it on the tarp and stuff. It's nice. It's definitely cooled down the temperature, which really helps me out. Just trying to capture some lightning on here, but I'm not sure I'm going to get it. It's 7 a.m. Getting ready to descend the mountain. I had an awesome sleep last night. I woke up a couple of times, but fell back asleep real quick. I think my body was just so shut down from everything. Luckily, we got a thunderstorm, so that caused a heavy downfall of rain, which dropped the temperature down to like 75, which is awesome because I was able to get my body temp way back down to where it should be. And then I slept in a silk sleeping bag liner towards the earlier hours of the morning where it got cooler, and that was sufficient. I didn't have a underquilt or anything like that. It was good enough for me, especially because I had overheated so much yesterday and was feeling the effects of that. Just saw my first snake, almost stepped on it, and now I cannot see it. It's somewhere in here. It's blending in pretty good. Just creep on by here and hope it doesn't go for my ankles. I'm actually going to switch my sandals out here because these ones are soaking wet, and so my feet are sliding all over them. They're also a size too small, so my toes are going over the top here. The reason for that is because when you start running in sandals, your foot bones sort of settle in where they're supposed to be and spread out, so your foot gets a lot bigger. So I'm going to switch to the other size here. And even though these guys have a way better tread on them, these are the Zero Shoes Z Trail. The Z Trek doesn't have any sort of grip to it. However, it's a lot firmer. It's much thinner though. So you would think if I'm going downhill, the shock's going to be bad for me, but it's actually not. When you have these sandals, instead of those shoes with the sneakers with the sneakers with the foam soles, you end up smashing your heel down on everything, and the shock wave goes up throughout your leg, and that's actually what's bad for your joints. When you have these guys and you don't actually have that padding, you hit the ground with the center of your foot, and it's way better for your joints. So I'm going to wear these since I'm going downhill, and it has a little bit of a lip on the front that my toes don't reach. But as I go downhill, my feet slide forward, so it's going to be a lot better descending the mountain with these guys. Besides being wet and my feet sliding all over the place anyway and getting some bad ankle rolls there, my toes were going over the edge because I'm going down. Oh yeah, that looks yummy. So I had dropped my Sawyer water filter there where I was gathering water, and luckily I was able to kind of go down the side of the hill there and get it. But if I had lost that and it became a true survival situation, you have these little rock divots here, and they have some fresh water in them. So you can actually just drink the fresh rainwater out of those little pools there and get hydrated in a survival situation. All right, ready to go. Descending the mountain. Look at that. Breathtaking. We get one more really good view like this coming up soon, so I'll grab that. So these are like being barefoot, so they have a nice curve and bend to them. So it's really awesome. As I go down these rocks here, my foot just curves around the shape of them, exactly like you would if you were barefoot. So it's making coming down this mountainside here really pretty neat feeling. Just kind of feeling the ground and the rocks and everything on my feet, while at the same time having protection from like a sharp rock, or if somebody had a glass bottle they broke or something like that. But it's pretty cool. All right, it's time for my electrolyte chia seed mix. It's ready now. I gotta say, today is so much easier and so much better than yesterday. It's all downhill. It's earlier in the morning, so I have way less heat. Yesterday, whatever I drank, 2 times as much sweat out immediately after. So that's why I was getting sick towards the end of the day there, and that's not good. My friend from work, she hiked Crowder's Mountain, which is only 3 miles, and she had to get airlifted out because of dehydration. She, cramped up, couldn't move anymore. So not a good situation when you're out in the middle of nowhere by yourself. But I'm excited to get back. I got about 2 miles left. I'm gonna swig this down, and then I'm definitely gonna get a cheeseburger somewhere. part's nice. It's cool and damp and quiet. Listen how quiet it is. Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick bag dump here just to show you all the equipment that I brought yesterday. It's pretty minimalist. It was designed for a run. I had no idea that the Foothills Trail would actually be like such a brutal terrain. They call it the practice run for the Appalachian Trail. So it's just jagged, rocky ground. It was all uphill for me for 5.5 miles. And gnarled roots and slippery, all kinds of twists and turns, bust and brush. So it definitely wasn't for a running sort of activity. I mean, I'm sure there's parts of it that are. It's a 78.5 mile trail. And so I only did about 6 miles one way and 6 miles back. So there might be some flat parts, but this was more of a mountain climb and a hike. So before I get into this, I will say, going forward, if you were to do that, the takeaways here would be, don't do what I did. Do not do it in the summertime. You're gonna have some serious risk of heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Don't do it in shorts and sandals like I did. I was prepared to just do a day run. The sandals, unless you're somebody who's been doing sandal running for a long time, that's why I was okay doing it. I would not say go out there and do that normally. And even if I could go back and do it again, I would be doing it in the fall or winter, and I would want pants on and hiking boots, just because of the amount of brush and the rocks and the mud. You just want that grip. I had a big section where I was walking through blackberry brambles and there were thorns everywhere, so it took me twice as long to walk through there because I'm trying to get through the thorns without tearing my legs up. Of course, you got ticks to worry about, and I got stung by a yellow jacket on my toe, somehow under my sandal strap. I remember slapping my hand down and just killing the bee, not even knowing what it was. And so my sandal strap was rubbing on the bee sting. So those 3 things I would change. And that's why, so for my bag here, I actually have a running vest, and that's what you saw the 2 water bottles in. So I would actually just do a regular backpack next time, because this is the reason for that is I had so many things where I had to bend over, pick things up, kind of go around and under things. And what would happen is things would fall out of this. So at one point my Sawyer filter was in one of these pockets and it fell down and rolled down this mud hill, and it was pretty scary because I didn't think I was going to be able to get to it. So that added a big challenge. So other than that, everything went pretty well and successful. So I'll start off here with what was in this bag here. So for shelter, really good system here. Let's see if I can get this on camera better. I'm going to pull back a little bit. So for my shelter system, I have a hummingbird hammock, which is tiny. It just fits in the palm of my hand. Super awesome. I definitely recommend that. And then Hummingbird makes a bug net as well. So the 2 of these are, it's still like, you know, a 1/4 of a sleeping bag size. And so I was really happy I had that bug net because the bugs are pretty bad up there. I have a pair of Eno straps here. They have a certain, just the end of the strap that's away from the tree that hooks onto the hammock happens to fit the Hummingbird hammock perfectly for that. Because it is the summertime, it's not obviously cold out, so all I have for sleeping bag is a silk liner here, and this kept me fine. I would say you're gonna be okay in this down to about maximum maybe 70 degrees. It was probably 74, maybe dropped down to closer to 70. I didn't have an underquilt or any sort of mat in the hammock to stop the convection. So this was still sufficient for that. I didn't think it was gonna rain. The skies were super clear when I went to bed. It ended up thundering and lightning, as you saw. So I have an Eno ProFly rain tarp, and so that was the final piece of my shelter there. So I have this little bag with a carabiner on the top. This is where I put all my food in. So this was what got hung up on the bear cables. But before doing that, I use it for my shelter bag. So you're gonna love this, it's crazy. When I put all 4 of these guys in here, tighten the drawstrings here. Oh, here we go. What am I doing? All right, so this is my entire shelter system. It's like half the size of an ultralight sleeping bag, and it's super light, so pretty cool. So that guy goes inside the running vest here. And I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I don't have an external microphone, that's why I'm kind of shouting. When I'm this far away from the camera, it's hard to pick up sound, so I will get a wireless microphone, but I don't want to invest in any more equipment unless we get subscribers. So if you like what you see, press like and subscribe and help out with these YouTube algorithms here. Okay, so the next thing is first aid kit, just an IFAK that I put this together myself. I think if you buy the pre-made medical stuff on Amazon and stuff, it's a bad move. So I've got everything I need in here to stop bleeding and chest wounds and all kinds of stuff. I just built it piece by piece slowly. So I have my first aid kit in here. As far as cell phone, I did want to bring, I have 2 battery packs. So not so much so I could use my phone while I was out there, but because I'm filming while I'm doing all this. And so I just put those in a Ziploc bag here, make sure they stay dry. So those are for filming, and also if you were in an emergency situation, you're gonna want as much power as possible. I am gonna get a rolled up solar panel, but they're just so expensive right now. They're like 500 bucks, so gonna hold off on that. But so those guys went in there too. I brought a headlamp. This was awesome. This was mostly just for if I, got dark and I wasn't where I had to be yet, or if I heard a bear or something, I could light this up in the middle of the night. And I also, speaking of which, have bear mace. Bear mace is ridiculously expensive. I don't know why, but man, did I feel much better with this. I don't have reciprocity for my 9mm, for my concealed carry in South Carolina. I got the CCW in Washington. It's valid in probably like 35 states. And North Carolina is one of them, but as soon as I cross down at South Carolina border, it's not valid there. So no firearm. Bear mace was good enough anyway. Firearms are more for people anyway, in that kind of situation. Cutting tools. I had just my what is this? Mora, someone help me out in the comments. Eldridge or something like that. Eldris, can't remember. Just a little tiny one just to get those small tasks out of the way. I also had a multi-tool with me, so this is nothing fancy. It's just a Gerber multi-tool, but I really like it. It's got a knife on it, and it's got the pliers, which are really important for me because they act as tweezers, wire cutters, all that kind of stuff. So these are my cutting tools. In retrospect, I would have brought a big chopper knife to get through that brush. This is just an Amazon cheapy thing, so it's not ideal for that. But I did just order a Bushcraft Mondo knife from Condor. It's the Matt Graham knife. So I will have a big boy for chopping through things and processing wood and stuff that way. So next time I will have that larger knife on my belt. But for that 24-hour adventure, these were fine. So I had those guys. around my neck and on my belt. Obviously, I'm not gonna put those in the bag right now. Speaking of belt, I have this belt here. It's a survival belt. It's got a zipper on the inside. So there's a flint and steel in there, fishing materials, cordage and stuff like that. So there's a lot of materials I carry on me just in this belt alone. So those guys. And then obviously you saw the water filtration system. I had the Sawyer water filter, the Sawyer squeeze, I mean, and I just put this on a smart bottle. And then I had this as a backup. I also had a single walled stainless steel water bottle in case I got stuck out there long term. I could boil water by starting a fire and having the water on that too. So between the two, water backup, I had a water backup and a water system. That goes with anything. The fire starting, you want several methods and stuff like that. I have this awesome bug, lemon and eucalyptus insect repellent. The reason I have this is because the DEET and stuff like that will actually poison guys like him. So this is more of a natural one and it works just as good. So I brought that in there too. That was mostly, I like to soak my legs in that and just kind of, deter ticks that way. I did just pull a tick off of me like this morning. It's been what, 2 days since I slept out there, so day or two. So fire starting stuff is in here. There's some cordage in here, a lighter, a couple fire starter cotton things. The lighter's wrapped with what's it called, Gorilla Tape, and there's some dryer lint in here. I actually couldn't start a fire. It was so wet out there. I attempted to. I didn't during the day look for fuel sources and tinder and things like that. So when I got to the campsite, I tried to grab some of the wet wood around and the wet sticks and everything and use the fire starting tabs, but it just wouldn't take, and that's even with the lighter. So I wasn't like, I would have prepared for a fire better, especially during the day, if it was fall or winter. Because it was summer, I didn't want a fire. I just felt like, hey, let me try to start a fire since there's materials here and a camp ring or a fire ring here, just for morale. But it was fine. I didn't spend too much time on that. I had electrolyte packets there too. I have this green mix that has like spirulina, and algae and all that stuff, just to get something good in my system. For energy and calories are chia seeds here. So between the green mix, the chia seeds, and the electrolytes, that's really all you need. Food is not a huge issue when you're doing a short-term thing. I had a spare pair of wool socks. I had a couple of bandanas, pre-filtering water with the bandana, wiping sweat. You can use these to collect things if you're doing, if you're going around picking foliage to eat, doing some foraging, you can use these to carry. Lots of uses. So I have those. I brought this rain jacket. I like this better than a poncho. It's by Frog Logs, I guess it's called. And it's a waterproof jacket. And I like that the waist is up high, so when you're running and you're in shorts and you want your legs to move, a poncho, you don't have that hanging over you. The poncho's kind of a little bit bulky. I guess this is the same size, but this material just scrunches up to this tiny size, and inside is actually what a plastic garbage bag would be like. It's inside, that's the lining. So this is 100% waterproof. So I carry this around me as, to keep me warm if I need it, to keep me dry. It could be a tarp. So that was never needed, but just in case, And then of course I had 2 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of boxer briefs here, 2 sleeveless shirts. This one, the material's not cotton, so this will wick moisture off. The only reason I had this cotton one on me was because the 4th of July is my birthday, and that's when I filmed this. So for the 4th of July celebration, I had the bandana and the shirt on. Normally would not take a cotton shirt out to do that. So now I'm gonna show you how I pack everything up. Oh, one more thing. A 45-gallon, garbage bag, drum liner. The store didn't have any 55 ones, so this is what I would use to gather. I didn't use this, but if I had to, I would use this to gather fire twigs, fill the whole thing up. And also, if I did run into like a huge temperature drop, especially considering I was covered with sweat all day and my clothes were wet, even though I changed into the dry ones before I went to bed, this I would fill with duff. There was tons of leaves and pine needles and stuff. I would fill this with duff, and then you have a browse bag, like a mattress basically, to stop convection. I could throw it in the hammock, or if for some reason there were no trees where I was, I have a mat. I could just throw this on the ground, get in the silk liner, and sleep on that for the night. So I'm gonna roll this up and show you how everything's packed up. I'm sitting on top of this tablecloth, as you can see, and that's what was wrapped around my waist. So for this, basically, I'm just gonna do this kind of quickly here. I probably had this a little bit nicer set up when I went out there, but just to show you kind of what you can do here. I guess my cat really wants to be, this cat, Lily, wants to be in the video pretty badly. Okay, let's move that. Just pop that in there. And so this guy will just roll up. This is all the clothing and that jacket and the bandanas and the soil water filter. So I just roll it up into like a little bit of a cinnamon roll here, if you will. And then I get this tablecloth or blanket, whatever you can get. I don't know the length of it. I want to say it looks to be about 4x4. Looks like 4x4. And then I just roll it from the corner. It's filthy. Of course, it's much cleaner than it was when I was out there getting it down the dirt. And then you just roll it from corner to corner here. Let's pull it back so we're on camera. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, this is what will go up on my waist. This up. So basically, you just put this on your lower back and tie it to your stomach here. It's a little bit poofier than yesterday just because I packed it up real quick for the video here. And this, you can go run in this guy here. And then we'll take the vest here. Put this up a little bit more. Take the vest here, put this on. I like that it's not a backpack. That, again, I originally was gonna do this for running, but because of, all your turning and twisting, the backpack doesn't let you do that. But because these are separate, I can actually move a lot better as a runner. And you just clip these guys on, and then let me grab the water. All right, so then stainless steel on one side, smart water bottle on the other, and there you go. Easy access to water, really good movement. So that's it. Appreciate everything, you guys. Thank you for the likes, the comments. Thank you for the subscriptions. Let's try to get us to 1,000 so YouTube lets me do a lot more stuff. I'm sorry for the sporadic release of videos. I'm on vacation this week, so what I'm gonna do is spend the week editing the 5 or 6 videos I have just sitting on my computer, and then I'll time them to release once a week, so we'll get some regular content drops. And then that will give me a time span to work on some new materials as well. So I appreciate everything. Thank you for the positive comments and the support, and we'll see you guys next time.